A podcast? Did your radio show get canceled?
Fire. Low down and filthy, but the discipline is on point. Schooled myself, made my own dojo. A cold flow with the whole dose of soul. Maintain composure, even in theory. An anomaly, properties undiscernible.
This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we talked to a younger fella. He's got his financial life looking pretty great. Nicole and I were looking at the numbers before the show, and we're like, wow, look at this fella. He wants to retire early. He's a teacher, lives in New York. He joins us now. Hello, Jerry.
How you doing?
Good. That was good. Like, you know, how I was like, hey, it's your turn to talk, and then you chimed right in, so the show's going well. Jerry, you're 29 years old. This is not new information to you, but you're 29 years old, and from what I understand, you'd like to shut it down sooner rather than later. Is that true?
Well, yes, for lack of a better way to say it, sure.
Well, I often go with the worst way to say it, so I'm not offended by that. So you just want to make sure that you can retire early. You don't have to wait until you're in your 60s. Is that fair?
Exactly.
All right, so you're a teacher, and you live in New York. Are you covered by any sort of pension system there in New York?
Yeah, I am. New York City, well, I guess I gave away the exact location.
Well, it narrows it down to the 10 people who live there. So
yeah, we have as teachers there. We have a decent pension system. Unfortunately, I'm in the worst tier of that pension system, but a pension nonetheless. So.
And why are you in the worst tier based on when you were hired?
Yeah, I was hired about 6 months too late to be in a tier where I don't have to pay into the pension. Well, the tier that I'm in now, I have to pay into the pension for my entire career, and the people who were hired 6 months before me only have to pay in for about 10 years. Now,
you mentioned when you sent us your information that you were contributing. Nicole, can you pull up the numbers, please? You're contributing $1,650 per month to the long term. Does that include that pension contribution or not?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so
that's my 403b.
So you're at $140,000 income. So for those wondering what a teacher makes in New York City, now you know $140,000. Your net monthly income is $4,800 because you're putting so much. Where is all your money going? Where your net income is $4,800 a month on a $140,000 salary. What are you deferring all this money into?
Oh, well, maybe I filled out all the information wrong, but that's actually me and my fiance together.
Ah, okay, so the 140 is you together.
Exactly, yeah, because my fiance is also a teacher in New York City.
Okay, and so you guys, each make about 70 then?
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, I make a little more than her, but it's, negligible.
And then is she part of that $1,650 that's going towards your investments?
Yes, but I'm putting a lot more away than she is.
Okay.
She has student loans that she's paying back right now, and so a lot of her extra cash is going towards that.
Nicole, let's take a look at those numbers again there, please. All right, you got $40,000 in savings. You've got $65,000 already set aside for the long term. Now, at your current pace, we went ahead and figured out your $1 million day. If your exact current pace, you would be a millionaire on August 9th of 2035. August 9th of 2035. At age 67, you'd have $6.2 million if you worked and contributed until age 67 with a net monthly income.
Oh, gosh.
I know, that's a lot. $14,500 monthly income. But after inflation, it would feel like $5,600. I guess where I'd like to go with this is, let's pick a different age. Let's not go to 67. Let's see what retirement looks like for you at 55. Do you want to do that?
I would love that.
All right, so let's refigure this here. So here are the new numbers. You would have $2.2 million at age 55 at your exact current pace. You'd have net monthly income of $5,200 a month. However, it would feel like $2,700 a month in today's dollars.
Okay.
Which isn't bad, especially when you consider that you're going to have a pension on top of that, right?
Absolutely. And pension is the pension's pretty good.
2 pensions on top of that. Is your lady friend is a similar age to you?
Yeah, she's 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
And I think we both have a similar idea, because right now with our pension, to get full pension, we have to not officially retire until we're 62.
Oh.
But if we just stop working early and manage to bridge the gap between whenever we stop working until 62, we can get that full pension, which is 65% of our final salary.
What are you spending on housing? And by the way, you don't live in Manhattan, I would assume.
No, God, impossible.
You live in the Bronx, Brooklyn? Where are you living?
We live in Queens.
Okay, you live in Queens, and what do you pay a month in Queens?
We pay $1,600 a month.
Well, that's not bad.
No, we lucked out. We found a nice little Craigslist apartment that we've been at for 4 years.
Well, that's incredible. Okay, so you guys live pretty lean. Do you have, other than your fiance's student loans, do you have any other big expenses?
Not really. I mean, I have a car, because I actually I work out on Long Island. She takes the train every day, so all she's got is her monthly Metro card. So other than that, not too many big expenses, other than, living in New York City and having our friends around and always wanting to go out to dinner and go out for drinks, and, but other than that, our expenses are pretty low.
Having friends that want to eat and drink is not only exclusive to New York City, just FYI. I have, I don't have friends, but Nicole, my producer, she has friends that like to eat and drink. So if we look at, obviously we're oversimplifying your financial life. Basically what we've said so far is keep working, keep saving at the pace you do, and you'll eventually be able to retire. Do you things happen in between now and then? If a family becomes part of this, if you have other financial goals, what could go right or what could go wrong, or what other things do we need to focus on between now and the time you're 62?
Well, there's 2 things. We definitely want kids.
Okay.
I think that's a few years off, but we both want that, and we want a house. And unfortunately, the housing market around here is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, for you to, I don't pretend to be a real estate expert, not only where I live, but in New York, but to be into a house, you're paying $1,600 a month in rent. I mean, you're talking about at least doubling that, at least, to even be able to sniff home ownership, right?
Yep.
So what do you think the plan?
That's why
Yeah.
the ownership idea seems tough to grasp with, because I've looked at those numbers, and seeing that number double is really worrisome.
Well, I guess the other thing is, though, clearly you've had a pretty good run with low rent, but that's not to say that will continue or could continue. So you're still going to run up against some sort of real estate expense issue one way or another, right?
Sorry, say it again?
I think you're going to run into expensive real estate one way or the other eventually, whether you're renting or owning. Yeah. How about the wedding itself? I know when are you getting married, and are you paying for that? Is someone else paying for that?
We're getting married in August, and my fiance is incredible, and she wants a cheap wedding just like I do. Unfortunately, my family is gigantic, and it's kind of a non-negotiable that everybody and their brother and mother get invited.
Sure. Well, that's how those things are.
Yeah. And so I think we're going to be able to do it for less than $30,000. My parents are going to help out a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't totally know what a little bit is. They're also, they're just retiring and kind of figuring out their own financial life and figuring how much they can help.
And then, how do you plan on coming up with $30,000? Is that part of the savings that's set aside? Is that going to primarily fund the wedding?
Yeah, depending on how much my parents can contribute, I'll cover the rest with the savings.
So I'm sure you've looked in the mirror and said, hey, I'm going to get married and then throw a big party on a day, and it's going to cost $30,000. That's not fun. It's reality, but, well, I mean, it's your reality. But it's, what are you going to do if you've got a giant family? There's not a whole lot you can do, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping we have on our website we have a house fund, and we're hoping that the family will contribute to that house fund.
So do you think realistically you will work until 55, retire, do something different, fund retirement with your assets, and then take full pension at 62? I mean, that is the operative strategy, I'm guessing.
Right, yeah, and me and my fiance are both music teachers, so teaching music lessons on the side is definitely a good way to go. It's not necessarily something that you end up, well, we don't need to talk about that on air.
Well, I was a last chair percussionist in middle school band.
Last chair?
Yeah, last chair. And I was always given the triangle to play. I always would hit it at the last note of whatever song at the concert. Needless to say, I sucked. Jerry. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We all have different skill sets. I have yet to discover mine. So what else financially? So housing's possible, but it's going to take what, a 5, 6, 7 year effort to potentially save for that down payment, and hopefully in that time, the housing market resets, which it potentially could do. But does it ever really reset in New York?
Yeah, that's what the worry is. I know right now it's at an all-time high, and I'm hoping it'll kind of go down a little bit before we buy a place. But how much does it go down? Like you were saying.
Would you go? You said you teach in Staten Island.
Long Island.
Long Island. So would you potentially move that way, or would you want to stay in Queens?
I think we're looking at Long Island, but it all has to do with where we can go, where it financially makes sense. You know? And right now I drive 45 minutes to work every day, and so if that needs to be a little bit longer, that's okay. But living where we live, there's kind of a hard stop sign in Manhattan. So once you live beyond there,
yeah,
it's hard to go from Jersey to Long Island every single day.
Yeah, and then would you potentially, if when you start a family, would one of you stay home for a while? I mean, I know that I'm putting the cart way before the horse here, but as we look at the financial realities of what you're dealing with, I assume if she wants to retire as a teacher too, she's working. If you want to retire, then you're working. I assume daycare would be in the cards?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you got a lot. You're in the heart of all the fun stuff's coming up.
Oh, gosh, yeah, I know.
The good news is you've made a tremendous number of really good financial decisions, as evidenced by the numbers you presented us. And it's not to suggest you haven't been through the hard part, right? I'm sure what you've dealt with is really challenging, but what you are about to deal with in the next 4 to 5 years really is about as hard as it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah. How uplifting am I on the show here today? I'm, just crushing people's dreams.
Well, that's why I called in.
Yeah. So why have you been so aggressive investing? Like what caused you to do that? Something had to have happened in your young adult life that made you want to run at it so hard. What was that?
I was blessed by an aunt that I barely knew who gave me a little bit of a windfall, and I decided that I needed to, take that and pay off my student loans, and I also paid off my brother's student loans, and then, use the rest of that money to really, invest in the stock market. And at the time, of course, the stock market's doing fantastic, and over the past few months, I feel like an idiot. But
well, hey, everyone's an idiot in the last few months. So now I've got to ask, an aunt you barely knew gave you a bunch of money, but I assume your brother didn't really know her, but he didn't get money?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, obviously I didn't get the money until after she passed, and so I can't pick her brain and find out why, but I think it has to do with the fact she was a teacher and I'm a teacher, and so I think she wanted to give it to me for, continuing the good fight, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, the only chance that I ever have of getting an inheritance, if it's from a relative I don't really know, because if they really knew me, they really wouldn't want to give me any money. All right, so your financial life is good. I like it, but I will tell you, as I mentioned, it's going to get pretty nasty these next couple of years. I think you have to, if you try to get into housing before you have a family, you have to understand how that's going to affect your ability to pay for daycare, and then how your commute plays into this. Like, it really is about to become a major chess game in the next few years.
Yeah.
I would not make any changes to what you're doing right now based on what you've told me. However, I would say this. I also would not back yourself into a corner by taking on a bunch of expenses right now, because I think what you're going to need is flexibility. And that's why I would not buy a house anytime soon.
Okay. That's one of our major questions is like, should that monthly rent be going towards, something that I own, or should it be, just going towards that flexibility and the ability to...
If you were in Des Moines, Iowa, yes. But you're in Queens, so I mean, you're one of the hottest real estate markets in the country, and being in New York. So $1,600, you're basically stealing. Let's just hope your landlord doesn't listen to this show. You are stealing at $1,600, and you see how long you can lock that in. If it's a tolerable place to live that you like, who knows?
Oh, we love it. It's a beautiful apartment, and it's a 3-bedroom, and so it's big enough that we could have kids there,
You have a 3-bedroom apartment in New York for $1,600 a month?
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
Jiminy Christmas. Oh, fortunately, like 20 people listen to the podcast, so... Okay, maybe more than that. What else can I help you with? Not that I've helped you, but can I address any other questions or concerns you might have?
So if I were to do this, retire early, both of us, what are there any other ways that I could diversify where I'm investing in order to make that more? Because where I'm investing right now, I can't pull from that until I'm 62. This 403b, which
sure.
is is there anywhere that I could take some of that money that I'm investing there and move it to a different place so that I'm a little bit more flexible when it comes to that time?
Well, you can't take that money until you're 59 and a half, not 62. But then the bigger issue would be,
59 and a half.
yeah, I'd probably do Roth IRAs, because you can always withdraw what you've put in. You can't take out the growth. But if you're making contributions over the next 26 years, then by all means, you'll have plenty of money in there that you can draw off of, that you're not taking the interest, and there's no penalty. So if you haven't already, I'd start funding some Roth IRAs.
Okay, and I should throw that money in on top of what I'm doing, or should I move some of those contributions?
If you can do it on top of what you're doing, by all means, yes, do that. If you can't, then yeah, you're going to have to pull out from those contributions. But I think the limit now is $5,500 per year per person, so that's $11,000 for your household. If your fiance is so inclined, so just under $900 a month or something like that. And not to be frivolous with $900 a month, but that would be the goal, and that would give you a ton of flexibility. Yeah, from 55 years old to 62, that creates a lot of flexibility there. I love your situation. Now, a lot can change in 26 years, but this is the base of a very good financial plan. I really like it.
Good.
Sweet, man. Well, anything else?
So when, obviously you can't predict the future, but how long do you think until we can buy a house?
I would say do it by 40. I mean, no, that sounds crazy. But I think you need to take some of the pressure off yourself, maybe let the market swing a little bit. I think as long as you do it by 40, very frankly, I think you're fine. Once it goes beyond that, then it starts to creep into it affecting your retirement and your kids' college and all those other things. Just get a good base, create flexibility through your 30s, and then by 40, maybe the time between 35 and 40 is maybe you jump and buy the house, but I'd say for the next 5 or 6 years, just don't put the pressure on yourself to become a homeowner, because that flexibility is going to allow you to create a good base.
Okay.
Sweet, man. Well, congrats on your wedding. I got you nothing. And I wish you happiness.
Thank you so much, Pete. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. That's it this week for the Pete the Planner Show. Every time you hear Queens, you got to think of Coming to America. Nicole, have you seen Coming to America? Have you seen the movie Eddie Murphy?
Yes, I have.
You have?
I have.
Really?
Yeah.
This is the first reference from the 90s I've ever made that you've gotten.
I know. I'm excited about it, but I also don't quite know how to feel about it.
Do you love? That's right. You're getting older. Do you love the movie? Or are you okay with the movie?
I'm kind of indifferent about the movie.
Well, there. We've just missed each other. All right, close your mic. That's enough out of you. All right, that's it for this week's show. Best of luck to Jerry and his fiance. $1,600 in Queens, 3-bedroom apartment. He must live in Eddie Murphy's building. Akeem? No one knows. All right, that's it for the show. I'm done. Bye.
If you want to be on this podcast and have Pete fix your money life, then hit us up at PeteThePlanner.com/podcast. You heard me. PeteThePlanner.com/podcast. Log on.
This is for information purposes only. It's not the Swiss financial planning device. Consult a financial advisor.
Released from Everest, the fresh is fresh, and you can call me E.T. Word to John Tesh. Let me bless this harmonic presentation. It's amazing, so amazing. I'm the reason. Salutations, I bring you love, drawing greetings from a faraway land. I am the sole controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Love Tron can restore your health. I bring you greetings, salutations. How you doing? And is that how y'all say it? The tinkling of the keys is an homage to the little star. I sojourn over poetic descriptions of sound and travel to my other world. Out of this world, spaceship on my arm took me home, fueled by the ink and the megabytes and the hypertext transfer protocol, stronger than the Skynet and the Terminator. I push faders into warp speed, glide with ease, creating a breeze they call a black hole. Event horizon, no rear view concerns. This I adjourn, and beats I burn. This I adjourn, and beats I burn. Salutations, I bring you love, trying greetings from a faraway land. I am the sole controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Love Tron can restore your health. I bring you greetings, salutations. How you doing? And is that how y'all say it?